Native Alabama languages. Most Native Americans were forced to leave Alabama during the Indian removals of the 1800s. These tribes are not extinct, but except for the descendants of Alabama Indians who escaped from removal, they do not live in Alabama anymore. They were moved to Indian reservations in Oklahoma and Texas instead. The maps are not completely exact because Native American borders were extremely fluid. Many Indian tribes were used to sharing territory with other tribes and they were at peace with. Meanwhile, tribes who were at war often pushed their borders back and forth several times a year. When the Europeans' diseases devastated the American continent, some villages lost as many as 90% of their people. Entire regions were left empty of people as the survivors left their homes and joined neighboring tribes. Also, no one was actually drawing out these accurate maps. The Alabama Choctaw Tribe. The Alabama language is a Muskogean language of the America Southeast. Due to forced relocation in the 1800s, most Alabama Indians live in Texas today, sharing the Alabama Choctaw Reservation with their traditional allies, the Choctaws. Only 200 people there, mostly elders, can still speak Alabama fluently. But some young Alabamans are working to keep their ancestral language alive. Like other Muskogean languages, Alabama is an agglutinative language with more phonologically complex verbs in SOV word order. The following are other examples of names that the Alabama tribe has been called. The Alabama tribe used wattle and daub houses, also known as asi, the Cherokee word for them, are Native American houses used by southeastern tribes. Wattle and daub houses are made by weaving river cane, wood, and vines into a frame, then coating the frame with plaster. The roof was either thatched with grass or shingled with bark. Wattle and daub houses are permanent structures that take a lot of effort to build. Like long houses, they are good homes for agricultural people who intended to stay in one place, like the Cherokees and Creeks. Making wattle and daub houses requires a fairly warm climate to dry the plaster. The following is a pronunciation guide. Some vocabulary is chikma, which means hello, and alilamo, which means thank you. And here are the numbers from 1 to 10. The Biloxi Tribe. The Biloxi language was a Siouan, meaning Great Plain, language, which was spoken in what is now known as Mississippi, but it was also spoken in Alabama. It featured a SOV word order, meaning in English we have an SVO word order with he ate an apple, but in the Biloxi language it would have been he apple ate. The Biloxi tribe was decimated by a smallpox epidemic, and the survivors migrated westward and merged with the Tunica Indians, with whom they share a Louisiana reservation with today. Though the Tunica and the Biloxi Indians were friends and allies, their languages were entirely unrelated, and since they were unable to communicate effectively in their native languages, both tribes shifted to French. The Biloxi language has not been spoken in more than a century. Biloxi is the name of the tribe in the language of their Choctaw neighbors. In their own language, the Biloxi called themselves Tanex, or Tanekshaya, meaning first or first people. Their language is known as Tanekshaya Ade, First People's Language. The following is a pronunciation guide. This is 1 to 10. Cherokee. The federal government recognizes only 3 Cherokee groups: the Cherokee Nation, the United Kiowa Band of Cherokee Indians, and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Nation. Although none of these are in Alabama, they came from Alabama, and sadly there are only a couple thousand Cherokee speakers left. The following is another pronunciation guide. This chart shows how to say hello and how to count to 10. Choctaw and Chickasaw. Both Chickasaw and Choctaw are Muskogean languages of the American Southeast. Both of them are very closely related to each other, and many linguists consider them two dialects of a single language. There are around 1,000 speakers of Chickasaw today, mostly in Oklahoma, where the Chickasaws were forcibly relocated in the 1800s, and around another 10,000 speakers of Choctaw. Like other Muskogean languages, Chickasaw is a language with morphologically complex verbs and an SOV word order. The following is, you guessed it, another pronunciation guide, followed by how to count to 10 and how to say hello in Chickasaw and Choctaw. Kawasati. Kawasati is a Muskogean language of the American Southeast. The language has been in decline, but some young Kawashatas are working to keep their ancestral language alive. Like other Muskogean languages, Kawasati is a language with more phonologically complex verbs and an SOV word order. These are the same people who live on the same reservation as the Alabama tribe. The following is another pronunciation guide, followed by how to count to 10. The Mobile Tribe. The Mobile Indians were a Muskogean tribe of Alabama, relatives of the Choctaw Tribe. Their language was never recorded well, but was probably either a dialect of Choctaw or a closely related language. A regional trade language used by the Mobiles and their neighbors, known as Mobilian trade jargon, is a much better known language than their own. The Mobile no longer exist as a distinct tribe. Most of them are believed to have merged into the Choctaw Tribe, where the descendants still live today. Muskogee or Creek. Muskogee or Creek is a Muskogean language of the American Southeast, related to other southeastern languages like Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Kawasati. The language has been in decline, but some young people are working to keep their ancestral language alive. Like other Muskogean languages, Muskogee Creek is a language with more phonologically complex verbs and an SOV word order. The following is another pronunciation guide, followed by how to count to 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.